Welcome back to the Wild West Tennis Podcast, brought to you by QualityShot Tennis. Today, our guest is Mike Curiel from Viva Tennis. Hello, Mike. Hola.
Hola, Brad.
It's great to see you again. I mean, is that a headband you got there?
Yeah, I'm trying to hit the Casper Root style. I hope I'm pulling it off. If not, tell me and I'll take it off.
No, dude, leave it. That is epic. That's a good look. I mean, so that's inspired by Casper Ruud, the headband.
Yeah. Well, Federer, Nadal, all of them wear headbands at some point. Nadal still. Yeah.
That's true.
That's why. I see you rocking the Guadalajara cap, right?
Yes, sir. And because of you, I got this hat. I should let our listeners know a little about the history I have with Mike. We met last October at the Akron Open 1000 in Guadalajara, that WTA event won by Jessica Pegula.
Yeah.
And yes, in honor of that occasion, Mike, I'm rocking that hat.
You're pulling it off, actually.
Thank you. Yes, sir, I am. I got the fila too. So yeah, let's go back to that event, Mike. And if I remember correctly, Viva Tennis is an online magazine, and you were there with one of the other co-founders that does more of the technical side of things, right?
Yeah, Dante. Yeah. He's more known for Dr. Fortuna on Instagram.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for people that is listening, he is not because he's my friend, but he's hell of a photographer. You gotta watch and see his work. He's amazing with the camera.
No, he really does have some serious game, in that department. I have been able to see some of the videos you've done and the other work. And if I'm not mistaken, that kind of, you and you guys got together a couple of years before the tournament, or did you meet kind of right before it? How long have you been together?
No, we are friends since we were toddlers. Since we were on diapers, we're friends.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we're basically best friends, but we didn't have like this idea of creating Viva Tennis. This was like an idea. It started like practically 2 weeks before the Guadalajara Open. It was just like we created like out of like from scratch.
Wow, really? So you just drop in at a 1000 event. You skip the challengers, no future events, no challengers, no 250s. You go straight into a 1000 event.
Well, what happened is that 1 year before the Guadalajara Open, the WTA finals were hosted here in Guadalajara.
Perfect. Yeah, let's go there.
Yeah,
so tell me more.
He was a photographer, but he was how can I say? Some company hired him, but it was like a cleaning company that just take photos of the stadium of the stadium that is clean, people, whatever, nothing related with tennis.
A corporate gig. Yeah.
Yeah. He hated, so he invited me, come along, watch tennis. He knows I love tennis. So I was like, yeah, why not? It's a 1000 tournament. He's inviting me. No, sorry,
that was
finals.
The year-end championship.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to see tennis. I'm going to see tennis for free. Why not, right?
Right.
Yeah. I went. I was amazed. It was one of the best experiences in my life by that time. So one day I came back to his house and I told him, man, I want to do this. Like, I want to live doing this. I loved it. What do you think? And he was like, yeah, okay, let's do it. Let's do it. But it was like, yeah, it's just an idea. Then when we knew that the Guadalajara Open was coming in October, it was like, it's our opportunity. Let's do this shit,
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I'm so glad you brought up the WTA year-end championships. That was 2021.
Yeah.
And what's interesting for the listeners, we're going to take them through this sort of the history, because it's fascinating, the history of Guadalajara and the women's tour. Because if I have it right in my notes, that in 2019, Guadalajara hosted what was then called, or still is, 125,000 event, sort of a high-end challenger on the WTA tour. Then that was 2019. Then obviously 2020, there's the pandemic, so there's a 1-year hiatus. This tournament returns to Guadalajara in 2021 as now a 250. That is, and we're going to get to, it connects with where you're going. So it returns to Guadalajara in February in 2021 as now a 250, getting the upgrade from the 125. And that's great. And Akron was the sponsor, as they continue to be. Then again, let's stay in chronological order. So in 2021, Guadalajara has the 250 women's event in February. And then, sort of at the last minute, they get the WTA year-end championships. Yeah. In November, in that same year, in 2021, which was a phenomenal event. I saw the matches; they were incredible. They've been spoiled now, and I'll let you just take me through your experience. You go there in 2021 to the year-end championships, held at the same venue as this year's WTA 1000, right?
Yes, actually they didn't know that they were going to get the finals. So you've been there already. It's a built stadium, they build it like from scratch, but actually it's a good venue. I haven't gone to any other 1000 tournament, so you tell me if it really it's a good stadium for a tournament like that.
I think it's an excellent facility. I think it's an awesome facility, especially considering I think they would have had to, it's one thing to host the WTA 250 event. That's a little bit different than the premier events like a 1000. And in a 1000 tournament, you've got more players. Most 250s are typically a 28 singles draw and a 16 doubles draw. And when you get to a 1000, you've got a much bigger draw. I think it might be a 64. Therefore, they had to build more courts to accommodate this event. And again, not to confuse the listeners, they have the WTA year-end championships that you went to. That was your first event. And they were fine. They probably didn't have to build up because that's an 8-player field.
Yeah, well, the venue already existed. There was this side courts, where their qualifiers are played, some doubles, some not highlight games, And there was the original stadium that was built in 2011. This venue was built for the Pan American Games.
That's right.
Back, 2011. Actually, the venue was called, in Spanish, is Centro Panamericano de Tenis, Pan American Tennis Center.
Yeah.
And the center court was the Pan American Stadium, but it was only for 2,500 people. So for a 1000 tournament, that's for sure not good, right?
They had to build. They do this at a lot of these stadiums. A lot of it's scaffolding. They're not a permanent structure, so they, as you mentioned, they have to accommodate more spectators, and that's a big stress on a site, on a venue, to have to accommodate different events. And I think, and better than I do, the tournament organizers. You've interviewed the tournament director, is that right?
Gustavo Santoscoy,
And tell me a little bit about him. He seems to be, to me, kind of a visionary. Like, he's got a big picture thinker.
Oh yeah, he any guy that you ask for him, he's gonna tell you that guy is a genius, like, for sure. Yeah, he's a genius. I had the pleasure to speak with him, to interview him. He used to be actually hotel manager, like tourist manager, director of hotels. So he's really good on attracting people, He knows what he's doing. Now that he's involved with the Comude here in Mexico, we have this Comude, the municipalities here. They have like their sports directors. So he was the director of the Guadalajara municipality and Zapopan. So that's why they chose him to be the director of the tournament. Now, when he brings the tournament here, he actually we were like this far to not having the Guadalajara Open. He told us.
Now you're talking like the one. Now, which one? We don't want to confuse people. You mean the 250, or do you mean the 1,000?
The 1,000.
Okay,
yeah.
Tell me more.
Yeah, because when they were asking, because he told us in the interview that when China dropped, because of the pandemic and the issue with this Chinese player, I don't know if you know.
Peng Shui with the yes. And the WTA acted in accordance. They decided to, sort of put their relationship with China on hold for tournaments because of the issue surrounding Peng Shui. And I don't know the latest on that, but that's right. Somebody had to host the event, and it probably was last minute. So you're saying this falls on his lap because he's had the experience of hosting the 2021 WTA Year-End Championships. He's the man that can pull off, hosting a 1,000 tournament with maybe months or weeks to prepare. Is that correct?
Yeah, actually, when he go to like fight for the rights of the tournament, he told us that he went to Hong Kong. This was this big meeting with these director tournaments, people that won the tournament for their country. And then they were like, okay, you're doing a good job, but I think Guadalajara is not going to be good for us. He told us that he went to sleep, and he was like, okay, you were on that when he told us, right? The
press conference.
In the press conference, he told us that he went to bed, he fell asleep, like very upset. And then he woke up with the good news that we were going to host the tournament. So it was pretty good news for Guadalajara, for him. So he's a really big genius of business and sports, and he's been doing great. He's been doing great. So we're gonna repeat next year. Well, this year we're gonna have Guadalajara Open again here in Guadalajara.
Thank you for bringing that up. Okay,
yeah.
This is big news, and Mike. I'm so glad to have you on to tell us this, because I went to the WTA website, and the calendar, they didn't have the calendar up for that part of the year. I think they have on the WTA Tour website, the calendar goes until, I think,
like September, August.
Right, pretty much to the U.S. Open, maybe just to the Open, but the October and November, those that wasn't on the calendar yet. So I'm thinking to myself, well, gee whiz, are they going to have this? Where's this last 1,000 event on the calendar? Where's it going to be? Will it go back to China? Will it stay in Guadalajara? And it sounds like it's going to be in Guadalajara, which is fantastic.
That's for sure. The dates are not confirmed yet, but the Instagram page of Guadalajara Open already posted that, hey, see you in fall, see you at fall, November, October, some of those
Beautiful.
days. Yeah.
Beautiful. I'm so glad to hear that. I mean, that is, it's not necessarily breaking news, but today to kind of prepare for speaking with you, I did sort of a deep dive, and I thought, oh, gee, wait a minute. What's going on? Are they having the tournament again in the fall? That Pegula, she wants to come back to Mexico and defend her title.
For sure.
So that's great. And it'll be at the same venue, I'm assuming. They're not going to move.
No, of course not. Actually, they're thinking of already building a
permanent stadium.
A permanent stadium, yes. Thanks.
That's a great move. That's a great investment, and a commitment to the game. Mexico is really becoming, to me, it's on the ascendancy of countries with tournaments, and China's losses, Mexico's gain. Having all these events, 2 on the ATP circuit, I believe 3 or 4 with the WTA, not to mention the Billie Jean King Cup. So let's get caught up then on February. Is that why the 250 event is no longer in Guadalajara and why it moved to the Yucatan Peninsula?
Well, actually, it's because we already have a 1,000 tournament here in Guadalajara.
Right. That was my assumption that you go ahead, explain it to me why it moved to the what's it? It's pronounced Merida is the city, not far from Cancun.
Merida, yeah.
Merida, near
Merida.
Cancun.
Yeah,
so,
muy cerca.
Yeah. Please, Mike, explain the thinking on why that tournament decided to not only leave Guadalajara, but why it chose Merida as its new home.
Well, we already have the 1,000 tournament, so they were like, okay, why keeping just Guadalajara as the only city with, because it's a 250, but it's big, for us, for Mexico, it's big to have another 250 in another state. So they have a country club. It's called Yucatan Country Club down there in Merida. It's beautiful, golf courts, tennis courts. Just the one thing that they didn't have, it was a main stadium. Okay. So now they just finished building the stadium for the tournament that is gonna start on February the 18th.
Fantastic.
So that's why, exactly. And the same Gustavo Santoscoy, the father, that is the director of the Guadalajara Open.
Yep.
His son, Gustavo Santoscoy Jr.
Yeah.
Now he's the director for this tournament in Merida. Yeah.
Boy, the apple didn't fall far from the tree. I mean, they look like twins, maybe, 20, 30 years apart, but it's amazing the resemblance,
Yeah, they're very look-alike, yeah.
I knew once I met the father first and at the tournament this fall, and they said, his son Junior, same name, he's going to be, pretty much taking it over. I didn't have to be introduced to him. I knew exactly the resemblance was uncanny.
Yeah.
and he's a very approachable guy, very media friendly. I think that for you, that's amazing. When I started out as a rookie journalist, I wasn't interviewing tournament directors, especially at that level, at a 1,000. So for you, that's a good get to have that relationship with him.
Yeah. I appreciate Actually, I didn't know that I was going to interview him. Just one day, the press conference chief, Maria Fernanda. Did you meet that lady?
Yeah. Sure.
She was like, she's really nice. We were like, hey, we're in the process of getting the media GAFED, this accreditation.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah, she gave it to us. But then one day, out of the blue, I received a WhatsApp, a message, and hey, Mike, do you want to interview Gustavo Santoscoy tomorrow? And I was like, yeah,
hello,
of course, for sure.
Hola.
Yeah. So that's how all started. And Gustavo Jr., the son, he was the director of. We hosted the paddle finals here in Guadalajara in November. I know this is only tennis podcast, but paddle is a sport that is having a really big hype here in Guadalajara. It's a Mexican
kind of
sport.
like pickleball. It's kind of on.
Please do not compare it, because I'm gonna stop you there.
Please do.
Because,
Stop. Yeah, I need somebody. Please. Yeah.
I'm gonna quote Fabrice Pastor, the director of the A1 Paddle Tour.
Okay.
Because he was asked the same question, like, hey, what about pickleball? And he was like, okay, I'm gonna stop you right there. And pickleball is a game for playing only, like to have fun. Mm-hmm. Paddle is a sport. That's the difference. Pickleball is a game. Paddle is a sport. That's the big difference.
Because of the movement, the athleticism, the thinking is that he's saying that pickleball is akin to table tennis, more of a game than a sport. Was that what he was trying to say?
I think the main reason that he compares that way pickleball with paddle is because paddle is already an international sport.
Oh, okay.
It's already played in Argentina, in also South America, Europe. It already has
okay.
3 tours. Yeah, so
It's established
a
in pickle. Okay, so he's not really putting pickleball down as not a sport, and he's not calling it a game. Just so I get this right, because I don't know much about either of those sports. Pickleball is indeed a sport. It just doesn't have the history that paddle has. Is that okay?
Yeah, and paddle already has 3 official tournaments. It's like here ATP and WTA.
Okay.
Paddle has the World Tennis Paddle, the APT that now already transformed to A1 Paddle.
Okay.
And the Championship of Paddle. There are three paddle official tours in that are worldwide.
Got it. Well, no, thank you. I appreciate you, making that point, because I really don't follow paddle or pickleball at all as a professional circuit, and I've got nothing against either one of them. I haven't played enough. I've only played paddle once. I think in Spain. It's got the walls that are
Blindex. It's called Blindex. Yeah.
I like that. It's cool. And it's got the sand in on the artificial turf kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's only played doubles,
Yeah.
But
yeah, similar, right? So, anyways, but back to the tennis, and thank you for that. But I think what you're saying is that the facility that hosts the WTA 1000 also is hosting a significant event on the paddle circuit as well.
It's like we hosted the WTA and ATP finals in last November, but just from paddle. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So just for the sake of clarity, for paddle, you hosted the year-end championships for men and women, but not to confuse the listeners, Guadalajara has only hosted the women in tennis for the year-end championship.
Exactly.
Okay, good. Well, let's get back to the tennis. So, and specifically the 250 that is going to be in Mierda. No, that's a swear word.
Yeah, that's shit in Spanish.
Yeah.
No worries. No worries.
Oh God, that's why they don't. That's why I really, they won't let me on any Spanish speaking podcasts, because it happens. I'm not going to say.
I think your followers and our followers are really cool people, so I think no one is gonna get mad because of this.
No, it's not Mierda. It's Merida.
Merida, yeah.
Merida. See, I'm calling it shit again. Oh, that's it. That's my first swear word ever on this podcast, and my last. Okay. So,
alrighty.
To get back to the event, I think Sloane Stephens is scheduled, listed to play. Will she be defending? She's the defending champion, I believe, from last year's 250.
That's right. She came here to Guadalajara 2022. Yeah. He won the last Guadalajara 250 against Mary Buskova. Yeah, it was an excellent environment. People crowding each other because Sloane Stephens, it's a U.S. Open champion, so people know her, right?
Sure.
So we're like Stephens,
and a French Open finalist. I mean, she's big time.
Yeah, she's a really big time player. And Mary Buskova, she always comes here to Guadalajara and people love her because it's Mary, like a very common name for Mexican people. Yep. And she speaks Spanish. So, claro que sí, people love her,
So that was that final last. I'm sorry. Go ahead. The final last year was. The final was it a beauty? Was it an engaging final, or did Sloane just dominate?
Well, it was good because people were cheering both players. Mm-hmm. But Stephen got she has more level that Buskova. It's not that Buskova is a bad player. Yeah, but
when Sloane gets on a roll, it's wow, look out. I mean, when she's the kind of player to me. She can play herself into form into a tournament, and by the closing end of it, it's a tall order to take her down. She's a very, when she gets the momentum, look out. I mean, she's just an explosive player. So Sloane will be back, and I think Coco Gauff is committed to the event.
No, she's not. She's not confirmed, but I think she's not gonna be playing Merida. I think Stephens is like the big star. That people is waiting. But there's also Alicia Parks. So I think people is gonna start
Right.
crowding for her, cheering
Yeah.
for Alicia.
That's right. She just won a title. She beat Caroline Garcia in the final.
Yeah. So just to for you to know, Caroline Garcia is my favorite player. So I was like, man, why Alicia has to come with her biggest level tennis this final, like today, that day.
So you saw the final? You watched it on TV, I'm guessing, or?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Wow. I watched it.
Wow.
Let me tell you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alicia had played like all tournament. Alicia was playing like a really good tennis, but especially in that game against Caroline Garcia, she played like she's already a pro, but she played like she promised to be a top 10 player. Because I don't know if you heard an interview at the Australian Open, I believe. She was asked about her level on tennis and what she wants to do this year. What does she want to do? And she tell this interviewer that she wants to be top 10 this year.
Parks said that.
Yeah, Alicia Parks said that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that she had made the trip down there. So thank you. So she's not content just winning titles. She's like, I want to be top 10 and probably number 1. I mean, if she's got that ambition, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, and a player that age to have that ambition, and to be so sure of what she wants. Like usually when you see sports, usually the most successful women or men in sports are the people that trust their game, right? That they're confident. And she played, against Caroline Garcia. She played like she knew that she was going to win that game. Yeah, she was doing great.
She had the mental toughness that is so, can be so
required.
Well, it's required, and it can be evasive. You can come and it can go, and I think somebody like Iga, for example, I think with her sometimes that confidence, it wavers. And some players like Venus and Serena always had it. Pete Sampras always had it.
Sure. Rafael Nadal.
Right. I mean,
the big three for sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah, obviously, right. And somebody like Taylor Fritz shows a lot of intestinal fortitude as well, and that same, single-minded focus on excellence. And they're not satisfied with just, winning a few smaller events. They want to really, they're going for the Holy Grail. They want the top 10, and then all the things that follow. That is really excellent news that I'm sorry that she took out your favorite player in the final, but if she's going to be there, that is really encouraging. That's nice for them, because if there's Sloane, she'll be there. I think one of the players that won the doubles in Australia.
Katerina Siniakova. Is going there as well.
Perfect.
Playing singles. Yeah, she's not gonna play with Krejcikova. That is her partner. Yeah, she's playing singles, and let's see. She's a really good player. She's better in doubles for sure, but But so she's gonna be one of the stars that are gonna start be playing. If we're talking about American players, I think
we are.
It's already confirmed. Alison Risk Armitage. She's already confirmed to come here to Merida.
Nice. Yeah, that's good. That's a nice field. What about on that note of talking about American players from North, South, Central America, who do you have your eye on that maybe isn't on most people's radar? Are there any up and coming Mexican players, male or female, that we're not aware of, or is it still sort of a work in progress?
Well, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna divide this by Mexican players and South American players.
Beautiful.
Yeah. If you wanted to tell you about a player that is not in everybody's radar, and it's from South America, I think that you gotta watch Camila Osorio from Colombia.
Okay, she's playing that name again.
Camila Osorio.
Okay.
Yeah, she's really young. I think she's 21, 22 years old. Okay, she lost the semifinals on Leon against Caroline Garcia, and she was not playing that bad, throughout all the tournament.
Last year at the end of the year?
Oh no, it was in this tournament on Lyon.
Oh, you mean it? Sorry. Before the final, she lost to your favorite player. My mistake.
Oh no, it's all right. Yeah, she played against Caroline Garcia in the semifinals. Caroline Garcia beat her in 2 sets, but the level that she showed throughout all this Lyon Open tournament, it was good. Actually, I wasn't expecting that from her. It's not that I do not trust her tennis, but she was playing really good, really playing a good level of tennis. She topped against Caroline Garcia, WTA final. She was on France playing with her crowd cheering her. Yeah. But she was to go to that tournament and go to semifinals at that age, showing that level of tennis. I think that that she is really very welcome here in Mexico, and we love her because it's Colombia. It's a Colombian player. It's a Latin American player.
Sure.
She has a really good chance to make it.
Yeah.
To make it to the final rounds.
That's impressive. Getting to the semifinals in Lyon. What did she get a wild card? Is the ranking high enough, or did she qualify? Do you know?
No, yeah, she's qualified. She
played qualifying and then got to the semifinals.
Sorry. On Lyon. I thought you were on Lyon. I think that she was in the first rounds. She didn't enter as a qualifier. Okay. Yeah, she had the entry to go to Lyon. Yeah.
Well, this is going to do wonders for her ranking then. I mean, she'd already, if she was able to get in on her ranking and not play qualifying, reaching the semifinal, probably not defending any points, the thinking here would be that that's going to be a nice bump to her ranking, which just makes life easier. And you get into more events, playing less qualifying, and you're racking up more points and money, and that's wonderful. So she'll be there in a couple of weeks. That's great. So is she kind of your sort of dark horse pick to win that tournament? I mean, would you go that far?
Well, she has showed good level on tennis, especially when she comes to Mexico. She lost the final in Monterrey last year against Leila Fernandez. So it's a 250 tournament, Monterrey, and the GNP Seguros Open in Monterrey, and she lost to a hell of a player, Leila Fernandez from Canada. So she already reached a 250 final here in Mexico. So why not?
Semifinals last week.
Semifinals in Lyon. So she's gonna have the crowd on her side. She's coming from a really good tournament. I think. If I gotta pick one of my how do you say a dark horse? How do you say that in English?
Yeah, yes, exactly.
I think that
caballo oscuro. ¿Cómo se dice?
Caballo negro. Yeah.
Caballo negro. Okay. They call it a black horse. Yeah, we call it a oscuro, a dark horse. That's good. She is that. I like that pick, and that's nice because to you it's not a surprise. You followed her progress, obviously, because she was in Monterrey getting to the finals and then losing to your favorite player in the semis of Lyon. It's nice for you to give us the tip on her, the scouting report. And she's only, did you say only 18?
No, it's around 21 or 22 years old. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
I don't know if I have the information here, but yeah, it's around 21, 22 years old, Camila.
Still, that's pretty young, especially as players are extending their careers. Are there any players on the men's tour that kind of like her that, I know there's some strong Argentinian players, and there's a tournament in Argentina this week. I think Schwartzman might be the top seed. Any other players come to mind from South or Central America?
Well, another Argentinian player that was doing good. I don't know if he's already still in the draw. It's Cherundolo.
Okay.
I don't know if you have heard of him. To be honest, I don't follow a lot right now that tournament. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think that Schwarman's for sure is the top seeded on it's the Cordoba Open. Yeah. Cordoba.
Yeah.
And Cherundolo is, I believe, like the second seeded in that. But I don't want to lie to you.
No, I think he would be. I mean, that's a name that I did notice that there were, I think it was like 5 or 6 Argentinians in the Australian Open draw. So they've got such a great history.
Maybe Sebastián Baez from Argentina as well. I don't know
I
if you
think
have.
so.
Yeah, Sebastian Baez. I think that he plays today. So yeah, well, from South America, I think Argentina is the, well, how can I say, the country that develops better their tennis players.
They should have with that amount of players. I don't know. I didn't do my homework on Davis Cup if they did qualify for the World Group or not. I wish I would have checked that, but they've got a handful of players, and I think and they're younger players. They're gonna be formidable. The question is, are they clay courters, or can they, are they also, strong on the hard courts? But I think now it's not like it used to be, where the reputation is, if you were a South American or Argentinian player, like, Gaston Gaudio, who won the French Open and beat Guillermo Coria in 2004. The thinking was back then they were just clay court players, but I think nowadays that players aren't as much of a specialty. They're not just clay court players anymore. Schwartzman, for example.
Yeah, for sure.
He's had great results at the U.S. Open, and he's won titles on hard court.
Well, another example, going a little bit back, it's Juan Martín del Potro, for example.
Of course.
Yeah. Hell of a player, right?
Yeah, he beat Federer in the U.S. Open in 5 sets. I think that was 2009, that final. That was epic. And Bondian and Chela, they had a great group of players historically. But yeah, I missed Del Potro. He was special.
Yeah, for sure. He can compete against the big three, Yeah.
Yeah. Had he stayed, he had problems with the wrist and the injuries, like so many of these players we talked about. If only. I think talent-wise, on his day, he's as good as any of those guys. He really, he could thump the forehand, and a good mover for that size, and a nice guy and a fan favorite as well.
Yeah.
But Mike, I'm curious. So you'll go to to the Yucatan, and you'll get there for qualifying? Will you get there early?
I think so. Actually, we're checking that with one of our sponsors, the one that the trip. I don't know if I can do a little sponsor.
Sure, go for it. Plug
here.
Away. Plug it. Come on.
Yeah.
Get
it's
in there.
Perfect. Yeah, we're talking with Ulises, the guy from Odiseo Travels. That's
I don't
the
know.
name
So
of
you might want to say that a little slower.
Perfect.
Because
yeah.
I'm not the sharpest, knife in the drawer. So
it's Odiseo Travels. Yeah. It's basically Odiseo, like the Odyssey from like this Greek, the Odyssey, the Greek Odyssey.
Oh, obviously. Yeah. Okay, so you're exposing me again. Not only do I not speak Spanish, I don't know anything about my Greek history is poor, but yes.
Yeah,
okay.
The Odyssey from Homer, I think. Yeah.
Right. Yes, I know. That's a classic. Thank you.
For sure.
Okay, so
haven't read it, okay? So don't feel bad,
Yeah, no, I haven't either. Right. Yes, the Odyssey, Homer. Yes, got it. All right. And
yeah, so it's this guy. We're talking about when are we going to land in Merida? So I hope we can do it on Friday, so we can start Saturday with the qualifiers.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's important. I think at these events, qualifying, I mean, you see the quality is more or less the same. Qualifying, you get a couple people to get wild cards for qualifying. Maybe they're young juniors. You get a mismatch, but the level is significant. So if you can get there for qualies, that's beneficial. And that's nice that you're able to get that sort of financial support, because it's tough. I mean, let's talk about that just for a moment. Doing what you do in tennis, it's hard to make money, isn't it?
Well, yeah, unless you have these rich parents and they're sponsoring everything. But yeah, we've been knocking doors, telling try to, if they close the door, we try to get inside from the window, But yeah, we're trying to make a living of this. So it's been a ride since October. We've been contacting friends that they already have like small companies, but they are interested in tennis as well. This friend of ours that She's on Mexican silver jewelry. She's
Okay.
already sponsoring us as well. We're
a
doing
little
this
product placement there.
Yeah,
Nice
this
one, Mike.
Miles Sportwear as well. They're
Yeah.
sponsoring us. So yeah, I'm gonna be like this Formula One, guy with all
Right.
these Checo Perez and Max Verstappen at the end of the year. But if they pay for the tour, let's do it.
Yeah, you're like, you got your, you're like a player. You got your patch, here. You got your patch there. This is Fila, but I'm not sponsored by Fila.
Hey, let's contact him. Let's contact Fila. Maybe they're interested in for the podcast.
No, it's important, and I think that it's on a serious note. It's important, and I think that you're fortunate that tennis really is on the rise in Mexico with all these tournaments. Acapulco later this month, with the WTA 1000 in the fall, the 250 in Cabo in the summer, which I think eventually it will move. And then Monterrey that you mentioned, tennis in Mexico is pretty big on the professional stage. The question is, when will Mexico produce another top player like Raul Ramirez?
Oh, that hurts, yeah.
Yeah, well, it does hurt. I mean, I'm not saying it to cause you any pain, but I think it's helpful.
No.
I mean, I think in Italy, they've benefited from having a lot of challenger tournaments, and before Turin, they had the next gen finals, I think were in Italy. So it's really significant having pro tennis tournaments on the WTA and ATP. Benefits the growth of the sport, no matter the size of the country or the wealth even. It's small countries. Look at Serbia. The level of tennis they have, right?
Yeah.
So Mexico, I'd really love to see whether it's on the WTA or the ATP. You guys,
that's something that we want to see as well.
Of course, you're starving for it.
Yeah, but I don't want to talk bad, or I don't know if I'm gonna be banned by the Mexican Federation.
No way.
But look, the thing is that here, it's all focused in soccer.
Yeah.
And it's like,
okay, senor.
But the thing is that we're not good at soccer as well. So it's like, man, you're bringing all the money to soccer, and we can even pass the first stage on the World Cup. It's like, come on, we have these players that want to grow. We have this big opportunity. We have 1,000 tournament in Guadalajara, 500 ATP in Acapulco. So please, hello, we are here, and they're just focusing soccer. So
I don't know what the magic formula is. I mean, now there's been a resurgence in the United States, Canada last year, winning the Davis Cup. You never know when the ebbs and flows for any given nation. Like I said, Italy impresses me. And it just takes one, like with Germany, when Becker came on the scene in 1985, and then Steffi Graf followed Boris Becker, and there was a huge explosion in Germany with tennis. So it just takes one or two of these players to have a major breakthrough at a major or a 1,000. So
yeah, we need like this rising star, right? Sorry. Yeah.
No, that was essentially it. And after this event, do you plan on? I think you're involved in other sports, right? It's not solely tennis.
Well, it started like Viva Sport, but I think that we love tennis, and Dante he didn't have this like tennis notion, but since we start this, he fell in love. He fell in love with tennis, and now I think this year we're gonna be focused on tennis only.
Beautiful.
It's gonna be only tennis right now. That's why it's Viva Sport Network is like the mother, it's like the matrix, and Viva Tennis is like the first son, the son that you take care, that you buy all the good stuff to this son. So it's Viva Tennis, the magazine that and this year we're gonna be focused on tennis. We're doing good, and I think that we can do great stuff. That's why.
Well, it's great, and it's important. I think that people that pay attention to tennis, I've noticed a lot of tennis podcasts. they're awesome, and they're people like you, young people in their 20s, and getting credentialed is huge. And you're very fortunate. You've had these opportunities to get credentialed, and then you've added value to the tournament. They see it as really being beneficial for them. You're doing them a service, and us a service. We need coverage outside of TV. So please stick with it. I mean, I know you. I don't have to convince you. You're a natural, like a natural born salesman. You're great with people. I mean,
Thank you.
this tennis card I have here. I don't know. Can you see that?
For sure. Yeah, it's it shines because of the plastic. But
yeah. Okay, let me try
it's,
this over. Is that better?
just if you put it like, it's better like that. You can also turn it around so people know, check the statistics as well. Oh no, I was like the other side of the backside. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's for the people that is listening to us. That's a Viva card.
Right.
That are the collectible cards that we make for tennis players. I have here with me the one from Fernanda Contreras.
Oh,
She's
okay.
A 25-year-old Mexican
You're better
player.
at that. You've had a little more experience showing off your cards.
Yeah, this is for the Billie Jean King Cup edition.
Oh, cool. Okay, nice. Good.
And
for
we
you.
have we had Rafael Nadal here in Mexico City for a tennis showdown against Casper Ruud.
Great. Yeah.
So we got the addition of these guys as well.
Wow.
So
that's good thinking. And again, I don't want this to be a plug. I mean, we're coming to the end of the podcast, and I don't want it to sort of be like we're just plugging your sponsors and the other things. But it's more to the point of having the gumption and the courage and the passion to pursue this, because you really end up helping people like me, fans of the sport. What you're doing, you got to make a living, but not giving up is so critical. It takes time. It takes a couple of years. I was a freelance writer for 2.5 years before I got a full-time job in tennis. So you got to stick with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and it, like I said, I want to promote what you're doing, your cards and your website, because it's cool. And you're doing this in English. Is it also available in Spanish, these cards, or are they for now just in English?
We're doing it in English because we know this tour is worldwide. We know English is the worldwide language, international language. Yeah, thank you. And we also want people here in Mexico to learn English. You know, we want successful people, well-prepared people. That's why we do this, you know?
Exactly. You know what? I shouldn't be tooting your horn and boasting for you. You're a natural born salesman. You're the face of the company. You and your cameraman who didn't show up today. What was his name?
You know, I want to just let people know that maybe I'm the face because these natural sales skills that I have. But this guy that is background, Dr. Fortuna, Dante Miranda, all my respect to that guy. You know, he's a genius with camera design. You know, he knows all about technology. So I think that we do a great team. That's why we're doing this and we're doing it good.
Well, look, I'm going to let you get going, Mike. But again, I want to thank you for not only making time to come see me today and share all this information, because it's not just about what you're doing for yourself. It's what you're providing for the public. This information alone today, I didn't know that the tournament was going to be back in Guadalajara because it wasn't on the WTA website. So you giving us the background and why it moved, why it came from China back, to Mexico, why this tournament that you're going to starting February 20th, I believe, right?
It's starting, the qualifiers start on the 18th. Monday 20 starts the first round.
Right. How, just letting fans know that, hey, the 250, it's not in Guadalajara this year. It's moving now to the Yucatan. And I don't even want to try to mispronounce the name of the city. Merida.
Merida. Yeah, it's getting better.
No, it's bad. Yo hablo español, pero señor, ayúdame, please. Yo no sé nada. I don't know anything. But No, it's just important that you're filling in some blanks that I wasn't really aware of. Why I got confused. Why isn't it going to be in Guadalajara? Why is it moving to the Yucatan? Which sounds like the way you described the venue will be the permanent home for the Akron Open.
Yeah, just to let people know, the Merida Open is as well Akron, so it's the same sponsor. Akron is gonna be Merida Open Akron. So it's we have same sponsor for Guadalajara to same sponsor in Merida.
Yeah, and the same thing happens. Right, it's just the name of the city is in conjunction with the sponsor, which I think Akron is something like they're a petroleum company.
Yeah, they are like oil for cars and motor oil, all that stuff, petroleum, gasoline.
Yeah, we're plugging everyone today.
They're yeah.
You know?
Hey, Akron, are you hearing this, Akron?
Yeah, they are, and they're like, okay, the gringo, he's not. No, we don't want him there. But Mike, you're more than welcome. I won't be making the road trip, unfortunately. But hey, have fun out there, and I hope you continue. I hope you guys can cover events even outside of Mexico, if that's probably the plan, I'm guessing.
Yeah, let's hope things get accommodate, and let's see. Let's hope we can cover international sports, international tennis tournaments outside Mexico.
Yeah, you can just keep riding the wave. I mean, you're a young man. There's no reason not to. You got it. I mean, come on. What's the worst that can happen? You might just watch some great tennis and make some great connections, but you're providing a service. You really are. So keep doing what you're doing. And I'd like
we'll be sorry, no, just for the listeners, we'll be covering a lot of American players from the Americas. So yeah, for you too as well, Brad. If you need something out there, just let us know. We're here to help.
You've been great. You've been really accessible, and I appreciate it a lot. And sort of explaining this whole situation with what's going on with the tournament. I mean, I really appreciate it, buddy. So I'm going to wish you a good afternoon, and let's talk again, maybe in a couple months.
Why not? This is like my first podcast experience, and being with you, it was great. I had a lot of fun, and I thought like it was going to be like harder, or I don't know. I didn't, but it's fun. It's like talking with a friend.
I think that's the idea. I mean, we disguise it as work and trying to be providing some breaking news in the tennis world, and I guess that is part of the deal. But no, it's really fun and it's funny, and you're just a great guy, and people can tell you have a lot of you're fearless, like these tennis players, and so just keep doing what you're doing. And
it's the magic of the band,
Yeah.
It gives you power.
Yeah, right. All right, buddy. I'm gonna say the usual sort of sign off. I'll say that, hey, please, if you like us, follow us. Go to QualityShotTennis.com or check out on YouTube QualityShot Tennis, and subscribe, leave a comment, and adios, muchacho.
Yeah. Follow the Wild West podcast of tennis. Follow Bradley Falkner. Follow Viva Tennis, and Viva Tennis.
You know what? I think you might have to definitely be like a reoccurring guest. Maybe even take this thing over. I'm getting older.
I'd love to.
I know you would. All right, buddy. Yeah. Have a great afternoon. All right.
You as well. Thank you for having me here. It's
my pleasure. Okay. Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Awesome.